君を壊して地獄へ帰る。
Hey guys, Caduce Campbell here for thebuttonsmashers.com, and this is our video review for the Caligula Effect. When I began the review process for the Caligula Effect, I wasn't completely sure of what to expect from it, which is probably one of the factors that added to why I enjoyed the game as much as I did. This is because there are numerous issues with the Japanese version that have been fixed in this version, the North American version that I was playing for the review. And had I read reviews of the Japanese version prior to playing the game, I may have been influenced negatively by them.
ミュウを殺さなければならないかもしれない。たとえ相手が僕たちの幸せのために歌い続けたアイドルだろうな。
The Caligula Effect's main story isn't the most complex or inspiring, and the gameplay can be a bit overly complex, but what it does well enough to keep you engaged throughout the 80+ hour main plot. So what's the game about? Well, you begin the game with your character going through an orientation process in a Japanese style school. During the orientation, your character is required to represent their class on the stage, which they do, but during the process they start noticing some weird anomalies. Sort of like a pixelated glitch that you would see in a game. Your character runs out the auditorium and encounters a cute idol type girl singing on a stage. Her name is Miu. Miu explains to the protagonist that they are in a virtual world of her creation and that she will grant any desire that they may have. After meeting Miu, you also meet a character who looks like a fairy. She informs you that you are trapped in Miu's world and that she's going to help you escape. Along with some other students that are able to see the glitches, dubbed the Return Club, you will attempt to find a way out of Miu's virtual world. So it's basically the plot of Sword Art Online. Well, sort of. The game's plot has its own hidden complexities that set it aside from everyone's favorite MMO anime, especially when accounting for the side stories related to each of your companions. It doesn't have much in the way of side plot outside of these characters, so I'd recommend sticking to the main plot and your companions as much as possible. All of the numerous objects and items that you may find in the game, as well as the numerous other NPC characters, are not really fundamental to the plot of this game. They more often than not serve as fluff to fill up the space in between story elements. Those other NPC students in the game are devoid of much personality, so unless you need to talk to them to progress, I'd recommend avoiding them altogether. Plot aside, the game is pretty much a never-ending dungeon crawler. It ran pretty smoothly on my PS Vita, a 1000 model. I heard rumors that the Japanese release would drop frames in battles and some other weird stuff, but I didn't notice any of that during my time with the game. It pretty much ran smoothly all the time and it looked pretty good at the same time. The game also has an amazing soundtrack in the form of some epic J-pop during the battles and instrumentals when you're not in battles. The music is also woven nicely into the game's lore, which I must say is quite interesting. It may be presented in a common MMO style theme, however, the way in which it is presented and the fluff that surrounds it makes a great effort to exceed the conventions of that theme. Now the game does have a few gameplay related issues, but they are more fundamental things that turn out to be annoyances more than anything else. One of these is the battle system. I found it to be unnecessarily complicated, especially its layout on the screen. The system is turn-based with multiple ways to approach different enemy types, chain combos between characters, and spatial awareness. In this system, you're able to decide how, when, and where your characters will make their movements during their turn. In theory, this seems like a simple enough system, but it's filled with so many layers that need to be completed every time you make a decision that you'll very likely find yourself wishing it were just a simple button press during the late game. This is because once you've leveled up your characters to a respectable level and worked out a combo routine that's most effective, the battles become mundane, like fighting a level 5 Zubat over and over with a level 52 Pikachu. You know you're gonna win, and you just want to get it over with as soon as possible. Heck, you just want to avoid them so much that you start using an insane amount of max repel. And in the case of this game, you just run around the enemies. Another aspect of the game that bothered me was the slow start, which was prolonged even further by the game's many tutorials. Remember the complex battle system? Well, they need to explain all of that to you and then some. Some systems are so complex that they're broken up into separate tutorials and given to you every time you make a little progress. This greatly adds to the time spent in the early parts of the game and may greatly affect the enjoyment for some players that may just want to get into the thick of it. The final and probably least important annoyance I had with the game was the lack of variety in the environment and character color palettes. During the game, you spend your time in a few locations that have similar color palettes. Add to that the look of the characters, who don't carry the regular anime style of having uniquely colored hair and outfits, and you have a game that can get a bit old, or should I say dull, quickly. This isn't a deal breaker, but as I said, it was a bit annoying for me. Maybe it's because I've been spoiled by brightly colored anime-inspired JRPGs for too long. So my final verdict on the Caligula Effect is that it's not the best JRPG on the PlayStation Vita, but it does manage to scratch that JRPG itch in quite a pleasant way. The game may be a bit too complex for those new to this genre, due to its complexities of its battle system, and the constant interruptions of the flow of the story at the beginning, but veterans to the JRPG genre should be able to find an enjoyable experience in this game if they take the time to savor it. Thank you for watching this review. If you enjoyed it, please make sure to give this video a like and subscribe to our YouTube channel.